The barrage of sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Pooh Shiesty got into big trouble after he robbed 2 men while driving a bright green McLaren. Just 2 hours later, he posted the car on Instagram, showing it off like nothing happened. After that, he took a private jet to escape, thinking he could get away from the police. The charges against him were very serious, but his lawyers worked hard, and he made a deal to be released in 2025. Even though he got a shorter sentence, many people were angry about it. Some thought he had given information to the police to get less time. His best friend, Big 30, went on Instagram to defend him. He said, "If you have proof, show it. I will do anything you ask. My eyebrow must have her? I will throw my tea in the river and jump in with it." Many rappers started calling him a snitch without knowing the truth. DJ Academics later spoke about how unusual Pooh Shiesty's time in jail seemed. Unlike most inmates who struggle with tough conditions behind bars, Shiesty appeared to be living comfortably. Academics shared his thoughts, saying, "Pooh Shiesty is looking too comfortable in prison. He has a Richard Mille watch, a fresh haircut, and he is playing Fortnite on his phone. He even has fresh Timberland boots. Not 1 watch, but 2. The way he described it, it almost sounded like Shiesty was not even in jail. This caught a lot of attention because prison is usually a harsh environment. Most inmates do not have access to expensive watches, stylish haircuts, or video games. The idea of someone living in luxury while behind bars did not sit well with many people. Some fans started to wonder if Shiesty had special privileges or if he was being treated differently from other inmates. There were even rumors that he might have made a deal with authorities to receive better treatment. Others believed that his strong connections and status in the rap industry allowed him to have certain comforts that regular prisoners could not get. Regardless of how he managed to live like that, the fact remained that he was still behind bars. Even if he had luxuries, he was still serving time for a serious crime. Some people felt that focusing on his lifestyle in prison distracted from the reality of his situation. No matter how comfortable he seemed, he had lost his freedom, and that was something no amount of money or fame could change. However, academics' comments made it clear that Shiesty's time in prison was far from ordinary, and people were eager to see what would happen next. People were surprised by this because prison is usually a rough place. Inmates do not have access to expensive watches, video games, or designer boots. So when academics made those comments, fans started to wonder if Shiesty was getting special treatment. Some even speculated that he might have made a deal with authorities to have an easier time behind bars. Others thought that maybe he just had strong connections inside the prison, which allowed him to live more comfortably than the average inmate. But then academics gave another update that shocked everyone. He tweeted that Shiesty was now in a halfway house and would be home very soon. This news spread quickly, and fans were excited. A halfway house is a place where inmates stay when they are transitioning back to society. It usually means that they are close to finishing their sentence and are being prepared for release. This meant that Shiesty's time behind bars was almost over, and he would soon be back in the rap game. Many people were surprised by how fast things moved. Just a few years ago, it seemed like Shiesty was going to be locked up for a long time. His original charges were serious, and he was facing up to 8 years in prison. But thanks to his plea deal and other factors, he managed to get his sentence reduced. Now, with academics announcing that he was in a halfway house, it became clear that he would be free much sooner than expected. Some fans celebrated the news, happy that Shiesty would get another chance at his career. He was one of the hottest rappers before he got locked up, and many believed he still had a bright future. His music had a raw energy that connected with people, and his street credibility made him one of the most respected artists in the industry. If he could come back strong, he had the potential to reclaim his spot at the top. However, not everyone was convinced that his return would be smooth. Some believed that spending time in jail might have changed things for him. The rap game moves fast, and while he was locked up, new artists had taken over. He would need to work hard to regain his momentum and prove that he still had what it took to dominate the industry. There was also the issue of his reputation. Even though he did not fully cooperate with the police, some rappers had already labeled him a snitch. In hip-hop, that kind of reputation can be difficult to shake off. Fans and other artists would be watching closely to see how he handled it. Would he address the rumors? Would he ignore them and focus on his music? Only time would tell. One thing was certain, Pooh Shiesty's return would be one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop. Whether he came back stronger or struggled to regain his place, people would be paying attention. Now, all that was left was for him to prove himself once again. Looking back at the crime, Shiesty and his friend planned to meet two men to buy expensive sneakers and drugs. He arrived in his bright green McLaren, and when the sellers came, he checked the sneakers to make sure they were real. If they had agreed on a good price, nothing bad would have happened. But the conversation turned into a big argument. In the middle of the fight, Shiesty pulled out a gun and aimed it at the two men. They tried to run, but he shot both of them. One was hit in the backside, and the other was hit in the hip. While this happened, his friend grabbed the sneakers and drugs and put them in the car. Shiesty made sure the sellers were not going to fight back, then jumped into the driver's seat. But there was a big mistake. His McLaren had butterfly doors, and when he lifted the door to get in, his Louis Vuitton bag fell onto the ground. He did not notice and drove away. This was very bad for him because the bag had more than $40,000 in it. Later, the police used the bag as proof to arrest him. In the end, it was like he never even robbed the men. He lost all that money and got charged with many crimes at the same time. After the robbery, he went to the nearest Miami airport and took a private jet to leave Florida. He thought he had escaped, but the police were already looking for him. A few days later, the authorities in Bay Harbor Islands put out a warrant for his arrest. They charged him with armed robbery and battery. At first, Shiesty paid a $30,000 bond to get out of jail, but his freedom did not last long. Just 2 months later, he was arrested again and sent back to wait for his trial.
Shiesty, who looked like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the hair cut off.
Pooh Shiesty decided to plead guilty, which helped him get a much shorter sentence than expected. DJ Academics later announced that Pooh Shiesty had been sentenced to 63 months in prison. At first, he was facing up to 8 years, so when people heard the news, they could not believe how short his time was. Academics talked about it, saying, "I think he is coming home next year, maybe the year after." But it looks like he is just accepting what happened and doing his time. He is not complaining, not crying. He is showing people that he is fine. And if he gets out soon, he will be good. As long as it is not too far from now, he will be fine. Many people believed Pooh Shiesty committed the crime to make himself look tougher in the rap world. They thought he was trying to build a dangerous image to boost his music career. But the truth was different. He had been involved in crime long before he became famous. Academics explained, Pooh Shiesty was doing these things his whole life. The only difference now is that he is in the spotlight. People act like he was a regular guy until he got signed, but that is not true. Gucci Mane did not turn him into this. He was already doing this before he got a record deal. Pooh Shiesty ended up in prison for shooting someone while sitting inside a McLaren. Academics even joked, saying it sounded like something straight out of a video game. But he made it clear that Pooh Shiesty had always lived this way. People love to make up wild stories and conspiracy theories, but the truth was simple. Pooh Shiesty got a shorter sentence because he took a plea deal. One of the biggest reasons his sentence was reduced was because he signed a proffer deal with the feds. A proffer deal is when a person tells all the details about their crime to the police in exchange for a lighter sentence. Pooh Shiesty used this deal to lower his possible life sentence to just 63 months. When people heard about the deal Pooh Shiesty made, other rappers started calling him a snitch. In the rap world, being labeled a snitch is one of the worst things that can happen to an artist. It can ruin a rapper's career because many fans and fellow artists see it as breaking the code of the streets. But in reality, all he did was tell the full story of what happened during the crime. He did not set anyone up or secretly work with the police to put someone else in jail. Instead, he just admitted what he had done. By doing this, he helped the court handle the case much faster. Instead of going through a long and complicated trial, his honesty made everything simple. This played a big role in getting him a reduced sentence. Normally, for a crime like his, an armed robbery that resulted in people getting shot, he could have faced many more years in prison. But because he took responsibility for what happened and cooperated with the legal process, the judge decided to give him a shorter sentence. One of the biggest mistakes Pooh Shiesty made that night was the location of the crime. The robbery happened right next to a police station, which made it one of the worst places to commit such an act. The entire crime was caught on the police station's security cameras. As soon as the gunshots were heard, officers inside the station reacted immediately. Police cars rushed to the scene within minutes. Because they were so close, there was no time for Shiesty and his crew to cover their tracks. Once the police arrived, they quickly looked around and gathered evidence. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence against Pooh Shiesty was his Louis Vuitton bag. In the chaos of escaping, he did not notice that his bag had fallen out of the car. That bag was not just any regular bag, it had over $40,000 in cash inside. But even more importantly, the money inside the bag had serial numbers that would later be linked to him. When the police checked the security footage, they saw everything clearly. They saw Shiesty and his friend arriving in the bright green McLaren. They saw the moment when things got heated, leading to him pulling out a gun and shooting. They also saw him and his friend grabbing the sneakers and narcotics before running to the car. But the moment that sealed his fate was when the bag fell out of the McLaren as he was getting in. Since the crime happened in front of cameras and with the police responding so quickly, there was no real way for him to deny what had happened. The evidence was just too strong. Instead of fighting a case he could not win, Pooh Shiesty admitted to his role in the crime. This decision helped him avoid a much longer sentence, but it also brought backlash from other rappers who did not understand the full story. One of the biggest pieces of evidence against Pooh Shiesty was the Louis Vuitton bag he accidentally dropped while getting into his McLaren. Since the police arrived so fast, he had no chance to go back and get it. The bag was left on the ground, and when the officers found it, it became a key part of the case. At first, the feds had no idea who was responsible for the robbery, but that bag changed everything.
It looked like he's, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight.
After the crime happened, people started giving tips to the police. They said a rapper was showing off a green McLaren on Instagram the same day. The police took the tips seriously and started looking into them. When they checked Pooh Shiesty's Instagram, they found pictures of him flexing with the same car. But that alone was not enough proof. The police needed more evidence to be sure he was the one. So, they kept looking at his Instagram and saw many pictures of him holding big stacks of cash. The police downloaded the pictures and zoomed in on the money. After checking carefully, they found something shocking. One of the bills in his Instagram picture had the exact same serial number as a bill found inside the Louis Vuitton bag at the crime scene. With both the green McLaren and the matching money as proof, the police had everything they needed to arrest him. But what made things even crazier was that his team kept using the same green McLaren for his music video Gone MIA. It was like they did not care that the car was already linked to a crime. Even after he was locked up, some rappers started calling him a snitch. This gave him a bad name in the rap game. So, Pooh Shiesty decided to speak out from jail. He sent a strong message, calling out everyone who was talking bad about him. His message said, King Shiesty speaking from inside prison. I am still untouched. I have millions, double digits. Tell Google to fix my net worth because we can check it right now. I am locked up, not messed up. I was 21 years old and already had 8 figures. Even Jay-Z cannot relate to my money. Stop playing with my name before I buy one of you. You guys are nothing. I stand on business every day, twice on Sundays. Nobody has ever scared me. Nobody has ever played with me when I was free, and nobody is playing with me in jail. I am still the king of Memphis, no matter what. If you think different, you need to prove it before you speak on me. To my fans, supporters, and loved ones, thank you for standing by me. I see everything, and I have something special for all of you when I come back. The rest of you? Keep hating, keep telling lies, and keep counting me out. It does not change a thing. I am coming back stronger than ever, and when I return, I have a chip on my shoulder. I am going 100% on everybody. Asterisk. Even though he was in jail, Pooh Shiesty wanted to make sure people knew he was still strong. He never lost his confidence, and he wanted to remind everyone that he was still the same person who made it big in the rap game. Even before he got signed, people were already calling him their favorite rapper. His success only pushed him to go harder, and he made it clear that when he got out, he would not slow down.